After the Supreme Court a ruling a buy a defa and sama abanbabin a kind of parliament no. Kofua a how we pa a NDC for in name Sadia we but a how in a way say I say in sama a parliament ebe tenaso ebe kano e keme say a Supreme Court e person mo form for sansem nioma bia e was say Supreme Court e to right no and I said the to left no Supreme Court person mo dane sansem no nioma we nyina kan wo na ma e ha e NDC for say Supreme Court e do mo ba beje e nsem e course e wo parliament enim say for seater a speaker of parliament e declare na e vacant no Supreme Court e do manu betum be kire mu say abanbabin inja o mo nombra be yo majo because omunya representative Ghana for ababonti abe kasa bibra mu chemu say nkofo bi wo hono ma omunya representative for 4 years enimpo yenka anwa asem adenti na few months to election na say obi nya representative eno news but me no kasa ide Sam George akwatena ATV3 na busuya esewani ense se ka kire mu otutu bi dia mane Supreme Court judges any Otafo constituency omo member of parliament ewo program na omo ye ewo TV3 so nyina na say wo chemu say interpretation na e course o Supreme Court no ehu nim fa so chese nyansa sem bia nim ena sa nkofo na omo tena nsem no so Supreme Court for na omo tena nsem no so edi ni nyina any NPP for mo tabiri nsem no e de court ni nyina no they lack common sense chese omo hia common sense e de common sense pa de ade a say ayera e won nioma na omo ye no in way nsem Sam George can without wasting my time, yenti and some kind live on the TV. And they say you see drag a warm. I am malikbasintale TV is way in the first number channel so more than subscribe. For my end.
You see the pains that these members of the bench are in. Because it's obvious to them and obvious to anybody who applies common sense to the ruling to realize that there is a battle of wits between common sense and the ruling that has been given by the majority grouping in this case. Like, there is a complete battle between common sense and logic and their ruling. There's the majority decision in this case. And you see, because even the judges led by the Chief Justice in the majority realize the lack of common sense and the lack of legal logic in their ruling, they only deal with relief one, that's a sort. They are silent on relief 2, 3, and 4. And so this judgment is hollow and empty and of no consequence to the Parliament of Ghana. I mean, the speaker should not waste his time with this. He should just put it in the dustbin. It has absolutely no value. And so when I see Afenyo and his men running around that they've secured a victory, you ask yourself, a victory in what? You went to court asking the courts to make a declaration and issue a directive or an order on Mr. Speaker, on the pronouncements Mr. Speaker has made. Despite for want of a better phrase, unreasoned judgment and logic espoused in the majority judgment, they realize that will be pushing the boundaries too far. And so they stay away from making any ruling on Mr. Speaker. So there is no ruling on Mr. Speaker. If you read the whole thing, there is no directive to Mr. Speaker. Absolutely no directive to Mr. Speaker.
Yes, because they say they can't do that. So if you want declaration of the seats, go to the High Court, page 14.
Is that not why I say common sense has eluded the judges who have made this particular... When you read this judgment, you see that common sense has completely eluded that judgment. You know why? And that's the point Justice Amadou Tanko makes. That look, the Constitution is clear. Read Article 99(1). And every article of the Constitution has a subheading. It says determination of membership. You said the Constitution is supreme. Article 99(1) says, the High Court shall have jurisdiction to hear and determine any question whether A person has been validly elected as a member of Parliament or the seat of a member has become vacant. I mean, common sense. There's a difference between High Court and Supreme Court. If the Chief Justice was not seeking to pander to the wishes of political powers in the executive.
Allow that for the High Court to pronounce on it. From your own, why didn't the Speaker?
Sam George.
Why didn't the Speaker?
Echo, when you speak, I was quiet.
Sam George, make your point. Make your point.
You see, the Speaker has not made any determination on vacancy. Because again, don't forget that when you go to 97(1), it doesn't impose a responsibility on the Speaker. It imposes a responsibility on the Member of Parliament to vacate their seat. It does not say may, it says shall. A Member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament. And goes on in G. For F, it says, if he resigns, okay, that's G. If he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party or seek to remain in Parliament as an independent member. And I'm glad Echo, in his submission, established the fact that Article 97 is dealing with the current Parliament and not a future Parliament. So it clearly means that Echo's explanation here today renders useless and completely illogical the arguments that have been made by Afenyo Makin and Joe Gate in court. I mean, and this is why you must realize that understanding of the law is not necessarily your longevity at the bar. We must establish that because Echo is a much younger lawyer, but he's been able to read through and understand that 97 is not talking about future parliaments. 90. You stated it here. I have not said anything different from what you said. And Echo is spot on it. Is bull's eyes. Echo is bull's eye when he says 97 is talking about this parliament. The speaker's pronouncements have absolutely no consequence on the 9th parliament. They only have consequence on the 8th parliament. When it says you will vacate your seat, it is not talking about you have no seat. None of us has a seat in the 9th parliament. Echo, you are sitting in a stronghold, so it's assumed that you will win, but you don't have a seat yet. Have you been sworn in? Do you have a seat in the 9th parliament? No, I don't have a seat in the 9th parliament yet. I'm hopeful to God that my people will return me to parliament and that God will grant me life to swear in on the 6th of January. Until that is done, I don't have a seat. So you cannot be telling me that the vacation of seat is relative to the next parliament. And that's why I'm saying that if the Lord Justices has applied or even just logical common sense to what the Constitution says, we will not have this needless constitutional drama. Now, if it then means...
So the common sense you talk about is in the ruling, not on the persons, in the ruling.
It's about their ruling.
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying that there is no common sense in the ruling. When you subject this ruling to common sense, you see that they're having a fight. There's a fight between common sense and the logic espoused in the ruling. I'm not referring to the persons of the Lord Justices. Absolutely not. I'm referring to their reasoned judgment. And I'm saying that I do not see reason in their judgment. Good. Now, let's make the point that if a member of parliament, Echo, you were voted for to this 8th parliament, not because you are handsome or not because you are tall, but because you contested on the ticket of the NPP. If you had contested on the ticket of the NDC in Old Tafo, you would not be sitting in parliament. Let's call a spade a spade. Your people entered into a social contract with you. You are sitting in parliament not because you have freedom of association. You are sitting in parliament because there was an election. Your people old enough to be your grandfather and grandmother queued to vote for you, just like me. They voted on the basis of the representation I made and you made to them. I made a representation to the people of Ningo Pram Pram that I am contesting on the ticket of the NDC. You made a representation to the people of Old Tafo that you are standing on the ticket of the NPP. It is that social contract we entered into with our constituents that gave us a seat in parliament. We sit in parliament not for ourselves, but in trust for the people we represent. Now, a decision of you or me or any other one of the 275 to alter that social contract means that you no longer have legitimacy.
Alter in terms of current or future?
Current.
But their intention is...
No. the question of vacation of seats is not about future, it's about current.
But
The speakers, yes, and the speaker's ruling. Listen, Echo. The speaker's pronouncements do not say that Cynthia Mamle Morrison, Kojo Asante, Andre Siama, and Peter Kwachiaka cannot sit in the 9th Parliament. The speaker has no such power because he cannot even be vacating something that does not exist. Do you understand me? The 9th Parliament does not exist. The only thing he can enforce vacation of, which 97 of the framers of the Constitution intended in 97-1 is the current Parliament. Today, wait, Echo.
So why did the Speaker of Parliament assume that there is a
the High Court would only do that when there is a dispute. Listen, this is what
there was a dispute.
So if there was a dispute, why didn't you go to the High Court? Why did you go to the Supreme Court?
Because it also borders on interpretation.
Absolutely not. So
borders on interpretation.
No. When you read the rules of practice, Echo, the rules of practice, and you see,
I have my own.
This is why, Echo, please. This is why people say the Chief Justice, and I'm singling out the Chief Justice, because she is the one who empanels, and she is the one who has led us into this constitutional crisis. She spoke about a constitutional crisis. The Chief Justice is becoming detrimental to our democracy.
Why is that?
Listen, the Chief Justice herself is aware that the Supreme Court on several occasions has refused to hear matters where their original jurisdiction has been invoked when the Constitution is clear. Article 33 of the Constitution and Article 99(1) of the Constitution are clear when it has to do with fundamental human rights. Your first point, of course, should be the High Court. When it has to do with determination of membership or a vacancy, it's the High Court.
It has exceptions.
There's no exception here.
There are exceptions.
There's no exception here.
Read the first
No.
There's a point.